Good morning, everyone. I'm here with Noemi Fritz. I'm Gabriel Foco. First of all, I would like to thank you for your invitation in this meeting. We will now talk about the production of grain in Argentina. So our headquarters are in the south part of Bahia Blanca, 200 kilometers from Buenos Aires. There are 300,000 inhabitants there, which contributes in the exportation of both wheat and of wheat. In our headquarters are in Bahia Blanca, next to the harbor. Argentina has been historically an exporter of soft and durum wheat, but durum wheat is really important in the total production. In particular, as for durum wheat, the principal productions are in the south of the province of Buenos Aires, both in the southwest and southeast. There are also other regions where it is produced, but in less quantities. In the next slide, we will show the evolution of the productions. Historically, we have been producing 100,000 tons, that is among 100 and 150 tons. In the last year, our production have exceeded 200,000 tons. And this made it possible, as you can see from the charts on the slide, to export. This made it possible to export our durum wheat to other European countries and mainly to Italy. In the following years, the export of durum wheat are not really important, and they are focused mostly in the neighboring countries of Argentina. As for quality, our engineer Fritz will show you the most important aspects, and she will talk about their evolution, not only in our region, but also all over the world. Good morning. We will now start by showing you what's our quality standard in the trading of durum wheat. It is a national standard defined by our Department of Agriculture, and then we can see what are the parameters to define our products, both for human and animal consumption, for our domestic and international market. Some of the elements that we take into account are about damaged grains, that is, all those grains who have some substantial modification in their composition. We can see grains damaged at a different level, and this can be used in order to understand what's their quality standard in their classification of these products. Also, through this chart, we can also define the different kinds of damages they have. We are able to do all these things in our lab, where our colleagues are working in order to see what the quality of our grains is. we're talking about the quality of grains, because not only we work with durum wheat, but we also work with soft wheat, sunflower, and maize, and corn, sorry. So we work with different kinds of cereals, which are both sold in the domestic and the international market. We don't work on research, but we work on commercial samples. What we can say as for durum wheat is that all over the years, and thanks to a big volume of samples, we can see the figures regarding proteins. We always refer to 13.5% of humidity, which we have to take into account when we compare these results. So, as for proteins, our values are around 10.6, 11.5, 13, and the average is 11.5%. It's an important level because I repeat, we always talk about proteins with grains with 13.5% of humidity. As for the hectolitриc weight, which is very important for the production of pasta, the average is 79.5, and the value is generally 79, 80, 81. As for damaged grains, in an attempt to classify the products for the domestic trade, we can see that there has been a decrease in the damaged grains. We live in a dry region in which environmental conditions are very important. But when it's time to harvest, there are not many rainfalls, and that is why the presence of smuts has decreased over time. And this has also been possible thanks to the improvement of different varieties. As for the extraneous matter, depend both from the environmental condition and also from the technologies used during the harvest. And as for vitrosity, it's something that is really important in the industry. And the vitrosity depends both from genotypes, but also from the condition which contributed to change their evolution steps. As for the hectolitриc weight, what we can see from this graph is the distribution of the values over the years. As for the proteins, we can see how our area is one of the most important ones. In our province in Buenos Aires and La Pampa, which is in the southwest of Argentina, the samples indicate an average of 11.5%. So just to provide you with an example, let's see the distribution of the production of proteins in 2011. And that was the previous slide. In the 2015, we had a different distribution, and that is why we see different colors so that you can see them more easily. In 2016, we see a similar distribution. In the chart we are looking at, there is the distribution of these proteins, and it's inserted in the graphic with their percentage. In the year 2012, it's been less than the average. The values change based on the place they come from. Another lab is the Chem Lab, in which we can show you all the tools we have specifically used for durum wheat. Analyses are carried out as for the case of the humidity. And we also check the percentage of gluten, which is a really important data in the production of durum wheat. So what we do is carrying out specific tests so that we're able to see what the actual quantity of gluten contained in the durum wheat we produce is. As for the falling number, we don't have a big volume of samples because, as we said earlier, we are in a semi-dry region in which, during the harvest, there are not many rainfalls. So, and also the varieties are very resistant. So the values that we observed are the one discussed earlier. Our tools makes it possible for us to determine what's the percentage of humidity and proteins of our products. From 2009 to 2018, we've been having gluten with values ranging from 24% to 33%, and everything is based on 13.5% of humidity. I want to stress this part because sometimes our customers ask for a basis of 14% or also dry substance. For this kind of analysis, we rely on our national standards. As for gluten, the normative we refer to is the ERAM 15864. We also have a specific normative for falling number and also for the proteins, and our analysis can make it possible to find a good solution. In order to find the values of protein values, we refer to ERAM 15852. These rules are based on different kinds of standards like AACC, ISO, and GAFTA. We can also carry out this analysis using any of these standards. The color is measured through the Minolta tool. It's not a routine analysis. It's not very requested by clients, but we can do that because it makes it possible for us to have a proper definition of the color of the durum wheat we're producing. Even though both genetics and environment have influence on the production, I think that genetics is the most important part of it. Normally, we have a yellow, which is more than 20 units, but we can also achieve higher levels. In this slide, we're going to show you how we have a chemical laboratory in which we can see the purity of grain, and we can see if there are problems in the seed itself. So we have different kinds of technology in order to carry out analysis of grain. In the lab for the quality of seeds, we can also see if there are smuts in the grain and pathogens. We can also identify the different varieties because the quality of our grains will depend also on the variety of seeds we're going to seed. In this case, we do electrophoresis, and all of these make it possible for us to harvest the wheat that our clients asked for. So that is all. That was pretty straightforward. So that is how within the Camera Arbitral de Cereales, we can show you all the qualities of our grains. Thanks for your initiative, and please visit our website